Boys, girls, anyone and everyone in between, got a question for you. What is your DM trademark? You know, that one thing that makes you just stand out as your own unique individual. Let us know in the comments below. We play on alternate Sundays, so before we start, I always ask which player wants to do a recap of the last session, always in character. Bonus points if they tell it in the correct order of events and avoid metagaming, meaning they tell it purely from their character's perspective. If they do it well, they start with inspiration. And I create a nemesis for all of my players. Sometimes it's not even tied to their backstory, just an NPC who's the polar opposite of their alignment, beliefs, or fighting style. But sometimes it's the classic rival. When we play pre-made modules, I tweak NPCs to fit as nemeses. And when one of them kills a player, happened in our current campaign, guys, really, don't split the party. It's amazing when the player gets a chance to avenge their previous character with their brand new one. My players are convinced I don't balance encounters and that I'm actively trying to kill them every session. They're constantly doing out-of-the-box things, trying to escape alive, like one of them literally hiding inside the ribcage of a dead creature, all to avoid being turned to stone by a cockatrice. This NP sounds like this, but I can't do a insert accent here. Proceeds to try the accent at random points throughout the conversation anyway. Oh, gorgeous, man, I could do any accent I really want to do. If a player tries to run their character's shtick too hard, like long-winded or unfun interactions, the NPC magically gains the ability to challenge them on that topic. Had a paladin who was a tax collector and trying to tax some fae living in an abandoned castle. Turns out the fae just so happened to be well-versed in the tax code, complete with current documentation signed by the original author. The players loved him, and it opened up a dialogue for us to talk about the paladin's slight overuse of the tax collector gag. I think my DM signatures are taking off running with backstories. I put in the time to make players' backstories matter and come up with ways they can engage with it. Nothing is as it seems. I love playing with tropes, suspicious NPCs who are good, friendly ones who are secretly really bad. There's also lots of gray. Few pure evil opponents, but the ones that are evil. Sympathetic big bad evil guys. You know, I like bad guys who are doing horrible things, but when you dig into it, you're suddenly conflicted. In my current campaign, an elven necromancer is murdering 9 specific people, sons of wealthy families, in horrific rituals. Now, in my world, raising the dead is taboo. It involves tattooing and scarification. But this necromancer has found a way to do a clean raise. Why? Because 5 generations ago, these 9 families murdered his son in a dark pact to rise from poverty. The wealth and power they have now is built on ritualized murder. And this elf just wants his son back. Screw it, let's eat the rich together, buddy! A normal tavern with a normal owner that always appears wherever the party is, with a thunderstorm of rain. Inside of a cave? Boom! Rain! And there it is around the corner. Climbing a volcano? Boom! Rain! And there it is on a rock shelf. I bring it to almost all my games. Players enjoy the NPC and the warm bed with free food. Second is unconventional city species. Most recent, a dryad running an alchemist shop. Politics and economics on the fly. I remember they entered a new country, and I had their covered wagon stopped by Border Patrol. They all turned to me and go, "Of course you have in-game Border Patrol!" It's always fun steering campaigns towards revolution and uprising, not just kill the big bad evil guy. They just love trying to beat the game outside of combat. A tiny pony that might be a disguised elder god, possibly the strongest being in the universe. Not even a complicated story, I just described a tiny pony outside a tavern, and one of the PCs joked, "What, does it look strong?" I flatly answered, "Yes." Dramatic pause. The tiny pony seems to radiate power like heat haze from a hot road, but invisible. You just feel this pony is very, very strong. Partly was to head off any murderous intent. They weren't murder hobos, but they lacked foresight. Killing a random pony outside a tavern on a whim was not beyond them. Well, they asked inside about the pony. Nobody had seen it. Nobody knew it was there. I have no plans for this pony. I might never mention it again, but they know it exists, and I know it exists. I'm pretty sure my players would agree on this. Tragedy. Making the moments have emotional weight. For instance, a sorcerer was fighting the creature that's mostly responsible for killing his wife. He uses Mind Sliver at one point. I narrate it as him sending his mental anguish at this thing with the thought of, "It's your fault!" Next, the baddie gets to go. She's a version of a god of justice, so I had restyled her attacks to be very judgmental. She does an attack that does psychic damage, and I narrate it as her reframing his anguish with the intent of, "Know your failure." He didn't go down right away, but that was brutal, even if I say so myself. And everyone did survive the encounter, but barely. Mainly thanks to my player's medic. Oh god, all goblins are just New Yorkers. PC backstories from campaigns I've either DM'd or played in being relevant. I run the same magic shop owner in every game. My players telling me my combats are meat grinders despite me having only killed one PC in 3 years of DMing. And he had a deal with the devil to basically be a revenant. So he just respawned a few sessions later. Improvising dialogue. I once had an NPC monologuing and rambling as a riff on Michael Pena's character in Ant-Man, and got a round of applause from the table when I finished. Probably my proudest moment as a DM. I was fully in a flow state. Hot older women. Wait, what? My games rarely pass the hypothetical reverse Bechdel test. I can't help it. Lesbian lizard brain just wants to write women. Look, I understand the appeal of older Amazonian women. Take us away! Running silly dwarven characters. Last homebrew campaign, I made a whole-ass dwarven civilization focused on digging either left or right. The main punishment was being moved across the settlement. Put your shoes on the wrong way around? Yeah, buddy, you violated our respect for left and right, and you got moved. It was really minor, but it did make 3 sessions purely of shitposts and jokes centered around left and right. I run a server of about 80 players where, at my peak, I was running 40 to 50 hours in a week. My trademark, sadly, is rolling a lot of critical hits and/or 23s. It got to the point where one of my players sent me a custom-made basketball singlet with my server name and the number 23 on it. We've played enough to have a bit of an array of different worlds. So, I'll always throw in a demon or fairy or some other extraplanar entity that's aware of previous characters' exploits. And usually throw in something that'll obtusely talk about another world above, where voices behind panes of glass use scrying bones to determine what their agents or puppets in lower worlds will do. On-the-fly NPCs. I love imagining characters that are both products of their environments and fighting to escape expectations, and then giving them something interesting or memorable. The party is visiting a wizarding university. You'll bet they'll find a goofy student who is failing forward and has, well, no idea why, but can supply the party with his research project that doesn't work as intended. The bard is currently in a long-distance relationship with said wizard student. Aww. The party is stumbling through the Feywild. They'll absolutely come across a redcap who is doing his best to run a successful shop without attacking his customers, but is communicating through a disturbingly strained smile. You want to buy a potion, do you? Come a little closer! Come a little closer! I don't know if this is the thing I'm best at, but in 20 years of GMing, I've used a mimic on 2 separate occasions, spread about 8 years apart. And now I'm known as the GM where anything might be a mimic. Some of my players haven't even been in a game that has had a mimic. They've just heard the stories about how I'm obsessed with mimics. Bones, the traveling merchant. A wandering demigod skeleton that arrives either when the players least expect it, most need it, or when you're a reoccurring customer and are given a special card to call upon him. He is not some get-out-of-jail-free card, but he'll sell you anything and everything you can imagine being in a fantasy setting. Potions, weapons, armor, miscellaneous gear, and you can sell him items or make deals to gain a discount on a wanted item, or do quests to earn them for free. The more fire the situation, the higher the cost. Lore. Not actually revealing it, but convincing everyone it is there. Now, to be fair, I put a lot of purpose into every encounter and item. Also, foreshadowing is one of my favorite narrative tools. But my players buy it a little too much. I can't spell anything without someone assuming it's on purpose and definitely a hint. Well, this one depends on who you ask. Some of my players call me the Mind Fucker because I like putting philosophical conundrums in my games. Sure, the Archlich is evil, but he provides full health benefits, paid sick leave, and actual unlimited PTO. Oh, by the way, childcare benefits on top of a comprehensive life insurance plan. Why? Well, he found that happy minions were loyal minions, and it's easier and cheaper to give good benefits rather than threatening them. Others think my rule of cool, within reason, is something apparently unique to DMs. I love to work with players on homebrew items, races, and classes to make them balanced. I'm a drama series. I love to roleplay my NPCs. They have big backstories that entice the players, but most are just red herrings. I tend to lean towards female NPCs, I've noticed. My women are strong and in charge, and the men lovable and friendly by default. You can tell my husband and I are a black cat and golden retriever. 10 out of 10. There's always something creepy. And be prepared for strange things in combat. I've had them attend the funeral of mobs they've killed, accidentally recruit a young wolf, made them a god as a troll on a nat 20 charisma check, so they walked out of the mini dungeon after being handed the loot. Suddenly shaking the table, trying to scare the players, and boom! Purple worm emerges from the earth. I have a rule that at least once per long campaign, I need to add this encounter. That's my best mini, and I love to use it. Also, I do crappy sound effects like blowing to simulate the wind or making rain noises. Tailoring! My players know that they will each get their time to shine, and in ways that foster character growth. You just got a new ability last level? Damn right I'm going to seamlessly craft a reason for you to use it. Your character's subplot is about to resolve? Buckle up, Buttercup, and be prepared for the limelight. For voices, I do Christopher Walken and Cobra Sphinx Commander. Probably implementing my players' backstories into the sessions, but having a private conversation with them on how to execute it first. This has led to some of my most memorable sessions and the backstory convo being deemed the talk in my games. Playing Undertale music during significant sad moments, the main 2 recent ones being A. One of my players hallucinating her little sister's face in the bark of a tree. I played Memory for this one. And B. A character has spores on her back that grow out of her fur. A favorite NPC decided to sleep on the fur, thinking they wouldn't affect her, but in reality, it spread rapidly and killed her within a day. I played Undertale from this soundtrack for that one. Inserting pop culture references or IRL historical events in a D&D way so that there's a clear, satisfying moment of recognition when people figure it out. One of my NPC characters, who is a terrifying Kenku druid with an antlered helm called the Zoo, who rescues and protects exploited creatures around the world with the help of his network of brightly colored war orphans called the Flock. Hey everybody, Brian Von VA checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, ring that bell, and let us know in the comments below. What's your DMD trademark? That one thing that makes you super unique to your table and your table alone. And of course, if you want to support the channel, you're open to joining our membership program. We love you all. It will help us keep the lights and AC running. And of course, you get early access to videos. But all that said, we just want you to be happy and healthy out there. And we will see you next time. Toodaloo for now.